guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lipsy and we're back with another day of 31 days of Spooktober. I'm enjoying doing these videos so much that it makes me want to be a full-on spooky channel. Like, I am feeling my Loie Lane is so happy with her life. My goal is actually to be able to travel to America to film a video with Loie Lane. I always feel like she wouldn't understand my accent though. And I'd have to repeat everything like 6 times over. I suppose nobody but me cares about that though. Anyway, today's video is going to be about a house called Sker house. And it's actually a grade 1 listed building, so it's exceptionally interesting. What are we waiting for, guys? Let's dive into it. So let's start off with the actual building. The building was built around 1,000 years ago to support the monks that lived in Margam Abbey that we spoke about before. It was basically a refuge for the renegade monks. Now, it's actually one of the most historical buildings in the country. And a little quirky fact about this building, until recently it didn't actually have a front entrance. So you'd have to go in other ways other than the front of the house. It is also a very unique building because it has 2 towers out the front. So in 1597 there was a Roman Catholic owner who lived there, and he basically got murdered because people didn't agree with the fact that he was supporting the old religion. And then in 1679 the missionary St. Philip Evans was hung, drawn and quartered after being arrested in Sker house the year before. Now, a lot of famous people have stayed in Sker house, and people have travelled far wide for how pretty it is, how beautiful it is, just so they can say they've stayed there. And that includes prominent historical figures as well, so really important people that we hear about in history classes and stuff. Now, it's owned now by Professor Niall Ferguson. He bought it in 2003 for a hefty £1 million. And he's currently in a big uproar because people want to use the grounds. So basically he's trying to ask for a 25-metre diversion so that people don't have to walk along those grounds every time they go past. To be honest, guys, history-wise, that's about all I found about the place. It's basically been a really miserable place, and it's always had bad luck. It's been a kind of historical place for monks, and it's been a very religious place, but this is more of a paranormal place to discuss rather than historical. So let's dive into the part you're waiting for. So when people go to Sker house, they often find this feeling of a crushing sense of doom the second they walk into there. And a lot of people have been reported that they just want to get out, they just don't want to be in there anymore. Now, it's said in the 19th century that a guy was walking home from work one night, and when he was walking home he was walking past the Sker house and he looked out into the sea, and what he saw was a kind of shipwreck coming to shore. He actually stood there and watched for a while, and eventually he saw a kind of group of figures coming out of this ship carrying a coffin, and it said they were all walking 2 by 2 and they all had this coffin like people carrying the funerals. So he said that he carried on watching and he followed. You could still see these people when they got there, but he followed and followed and followed until he reached his house. Now, it's said that these people actually stopped outside his house with the coffin on their backs and they just disappeared in front of him. 1 week later, a vessel was brought off the coast. The guy who had seen this happen a week before watched his brother's funeral before it even happened, and they had a knock on the door to say that his brother had died the exact night that he saw it happen. What makes it even weirder is when they had the actual funeral for his brother, it was almost exactly the same as when he saw it the first time. Now, it's said that this place has many things going on. We're going to start off with kind of overview of them. So there's said to be a Banshee, which is basically a wailing noise. So people say they hear this wailing noise before impending doom happens. So people say they hear it before death, before shipwrecks, and before anything in their life goes wrong, basically. And then there's also the ghost ships. People say they see shipwrecks, and they also see disembodied lights along the beach, but they're never actually there. Neither are the shipwrecks. There's a large account of shadow people in the area, and the more time goes on, the more people seem to think that these shadow people are seeking them out rather than just being caught in the act of being shadow people. But we're going to dive into this a little bit further now. So to dive into the Banshee. Now in Welsh mythology, the Banshee is called Cyhyraeth. I'll put that up so you can all see what it looks like, but it's called Cyhyraeth. Now to break that down, cyhyr is muscle, but the translation would be a thing of mere flesh and bone. Now the Cyhyraeth is actually prevalent along the Glamorgan coast. It's a myth, and it's said to have been heard wailing. So when something bad is going to happen, or there's a shipwreck going to happen, or somebody's going to die, you hear the Cyhyraeth. Now those who are unfortunate enough to hear the Cyhyraeth are likely to come face to face with it, or him, or her. It's actually not known whether this creature is male or female, but it's said to have had wild bushy hair, black pointed teeth, and long withered arms. Now to add to this, what makes me feel disgusting is that it said if you meet the Cyhyraeth, death would be slowly following behind. And if you have to meet death, apparently with the Cyhyraeth, they make you decide who is gonna die. Whether it's a friend, whether it's an acquaintance, but you have to decide yourself with the Cyhyraeth and death. Along with the Cyhyraeth, people would see the Canwyll Corff. Now that translates to the corpse candle, and this is said to be the disembodied lights that they see on the beach. Now this is interesting. They can be single lights or clusters. And if you look at the lights, there's always an indication for you to know who is about to die. The size relates to the age of the person who is about to die. So if there's a cluster, it's more likely that the person is going to be older, and if it's just the one light, it's likely to be younger. He said that the colour is related to gender. If the person who's going to die is a girl, it'll be red, and if the person who's about to die is going to be a man, it'll be blue. So you can always judge on the Canwyll Corff who's about to die. To dive into the shadow people more, there's thousands of videos on YouTube about the shadow people. So if you wanted to look that up, or if you wanted me to make another video covering the shadow people, please let me know in the comments. But I'm going to briefly go over them now so you know what I'm talking about. Now, the shadow people are the type of things that catch your eye. Just off guard and you think, what was that then? That's the shadow people. Now, before they used to hide from you, but more recently people have realised that they're starting to come out of their shell a little bit more, chase people down and try and find you. They're generally male, and do you know what's creepy? They always wear hats, or they've been seen wearing hats. I don't like that. Some are said to be hooded or cloaked, and they're basically just dark humanoid masses. They can be evil, or they can be cosmic guardians, so you're not really sure what you're going to get when you meet a shadow person. Now it's said that in the 18th century, it was owned by Isaac Williams. His daughter was Elizabeth, and she's become known as the Maid of Sker. Now his daughter Elizabeth fell in love with a man called Thomas Evans. He was a carpenter, and he was also a harpist. Isaac didn't like this guy. He said he was not a man of means. So he decided to lock away his daughter. He basically locked her away until he bribed her enough to marry a man who wasn't Thomas Evans, but a man called Thomas Kirkhouse. Now it said that she pined for Thomas Evans so much that she actually either starved herself or died of a broken heart, and she was so young she just died alone in her room looking at the window for Thomas Evans to come back for her. It said that people saw Elizabeth so much in the window of her bedroom that for a while after her death they refused to believe that she died, and they thought it was just a scam because they saw her so much, and they were like, no, there's no way she's dead because we've seen her. And it said that she still wails on the beach and out the window for Thomas Evans to come for her. There's always some sort of crying woman in these, isn't there? Why are we always perceived as criers? I can't really say that, I cry all the time over happy things happening. But anyway guys, that's Sker House. I hope you enjoyed. I actually really liked this one. It had so many little stories and so many twists and turns, and I don't know, it just felt more creepy, and I'd love to go there. I don't know if I'm allowed to go in or if I'm allowed to go on the grounds, but I would love to go there and explore it for you guys in my spirit box. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. As always, leave a thumbs up. please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and obviously if you do subscribe, hit my notification bell so I can alert you every time I upload and you'll never miss a video. Remember guys, never let anyone dull your sparkle.
It's not for me to say.